Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm Shaun. Thanks, Darren. Nice to see you and speak with you. I've been incredibly impressed. I would have loved to be a student in all of your classes. Really, really amazing work. Thank you for having me as a guest. I'm going to abbreviate my section. I know we're almost at time, and I know it's a little bit later for all of you than it is for me in Chicago. And I want to make sure that my friend Kirsteen has time to go through her video. I'll just give a brief overview of Screencastify just verbally, and then throw it to Kirsteen in a second. For those of you that know, Screencastify is a Google Chrome extension, lives up in your toolbar. Any user, both free and paid, can create easy screencast videos, recording your tab, your whole screen, or just your webcam. And then directly connected to that screen recording tool, you have a web-based editor that you can edit both Screencastify videos along with external other video files, really of any format that would be housed on your computer. So this editor can, again, function both from Screencastify directly or anything outside. You may edit videos as well. And we see this primarily with the use of instructional videos. And then third, we also have a component that's a video submission tool. So teachers like yourselves can create teacher stimulus and then offer students a hyperlink that they can click and go right to a video-based submission that they would then send back to you. All of this is done with some additional features and functions that are really great, like interactive quiz questions that you can add on to your videos, viewer analytics, and a variety of other features. But just, again, being mindful of time, wanted to thank you so much again for having us. I will throw it to Kirsteen and then answer any questions in the chat while she is presenting.
Well, before you play my video, this is not as high tech and high spec as everything we've seen earlier, which it's more a case of just showing how I use it. They picked me up because I'm a power user. I've used it during lockdown. It's just become my go-to tool. And so in Blue Peter fashion, I decided, instead of prepping for tonight, waffling too much, getting myself tied in knots and having things delaying, I just make a video using Screencastify about how I use Screencastify. Screencastify has become one of my most valuable teaching tools. I invested my own money and subscribed to unlimited editing and recording because the 5-minute limit on recording, just you were constantly watching the clock and having to worry about what you were saying. But with unlimited, I can just let the camera roll and then go and edit out anything I need afterwards. It's particularly useful when pupils have been absent recently in isolation, working from home. So I've also got one student that attends college on a Friday from the higher computing class. So anything that I need to, if I'm going over a solution with the ones that are present or instructions, I just quickly click my Screencastify button, record whatever it is I'm needing to say and share it with him on the day. So my main use initially was for your standard how to do little short instruction videos. But it then became a main mode of communication with my pupils. So during lockdown, I would use it for feedback. And I've now continued to use it for feedback because often when I'm marking someone's piece of work, the child's not there in front of me at the time when I'm going over it. So I find it helpful to have a video of their work on screen as I'm talking through whatever the problems are with their piece of work. And then I submit it via Google Classroom. Direct from Screencastify, you get the option to share in Classroom. And I just set up a quick multiple choice question where they may be asked, do they understand the feedback or do they still need more help with that topic? I discovered during a Google Meet with one of my students that their inbox had about 1,000 emails. They weren't checking emails, and email is kind of the main way that Google Classroom would notify students if you've left any feedback comments within an assignment. Unless a child actively takes time to go and look at an assignment to see has there been feedback left, they weren't getting it. So when I set my feedback as a question, I put a to-do date on it. So most students, when they're using Google Classroom, go and see what they have in their to-do list, what's got a due date. They don't go and read the emails. So that was why I decided to start using questions for feedback and instructions. So even if it was the lesson instructions, I'd post out as a question and they had to just respond saying, I understand the questions and the task. Then with my games development class, during lockdown, they were all at different stages in games development. And I felt like when you're not in the classroom, being able to look over their shoulder to see what they were doing. So I started asking them for video updates. So the students themselves were asked to create videos and then using Screencastify, just a short update to explain what progress they'd made that day. Now I now have my digital media in school, in class, and they are building their digital media project. So I'm about to set video updates for them so that when they have finished a lesson, they can do a short recording and let me know what progress they've made during the course of a lesson, so that there's some accountability to them and they can report in. Even though I can kind of walk around the room and check in with them, there are occasions when I want them to actually tell me what they're doing and make videos to show me their progress. So when you're in editor view, this is me. I've just opened my video that was demonstrating my use of Screencastify. I can click to add titles. Edit the text, you can change the color of your backgrounds, etc. You can then add in additional videos that you've recorded previously for your editing. You can mute the sound and edit the audio separately. And when you're finished, you can then export as an MP4, which would then download to your computer, or when you export to Screencastify, it will just go straight to your Screencastify folder on your Google Drive as an MP4 file. And it's got the usual cutting, cropping. This is a tool I find particularly useful if you're wanting to demonstrate which item you have to click on. I would first trim the video on the section. That's how I tend to do it. So I would split it. So cut here, cut, select that clip, and then add the zoom. The zoom doesn't last long anyway. You don't have to do that, but that's just the way I do it, so I can see where I'm going. So you can then see which bit of the piece of work you want to highlight. So when it's things like using Serif Draw Plus and you want to emphasize which area of the screen they have got to click on, you can highlight that particular area and it will zoom in. Those for your standard how to do little short instruction videos. So once you've actually recorded your video, and you then have the option whether you want to open it in editor, if you've got the editor option added, you can share to Google Classroom, you can email, generate a QR code, you can then add interactive questions to it. Now, I haven't used that very often yet. It's a tool I would quite like to use. I've had the time to develop the resources and build it into some of my lesson videos. But I did find that the text limit for some of the answers just wasn't enough for what I wanted to say and do. If I wanted to share this to a classroom, obviously you'd name it appropriately. Click share to classroom. I have hundreds of classes at this moment in time. So the likes of a question that was maybe reusing, I've got a holding classroom I put in for a post that I want to reuse regularly. You can say whether you want to create an assignment, ask a question, make an announcement, create materials. I would do ask the question. Set it up as multiple choice. Select which students I wanted to view the question. Now, this was the important bit. Now, this one doesn't have any students in it. But if it was feedback for an individual child with videos of their work that you just wanted that child to see, always remember to go and edit your student list so that it was just that student that was getting the video. But overall, excellent tool. Highly recommend it.